What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are having a solid Friday. I got an interesting topic, I think. I don't know, you have to let me know if you find it interesting as well. But over the past couple days, I've actually caught this a couple times. Saw a couple videos. My generation, for some reason, I feel like it's the trend, it's the new thing among younger people, which in general, I think that's fair and honestly, it's warranted in a lot of ways. But there's this trend and movement, especially among, I feel like, younger women more than men, but they don't want to have kids, and they don't ever plan to have kids. They don't want kids. They don't want them now. They don't want them ever. And I don't really get it myself. I've always been a person. I had multiple siblings. Everybody I've been around pretty much had a lot of big family, a lot of cousins, a lot of siblings. So I was used to that. That's my status quo. So I feel like that's a big part of it more than anything. But I've always wanted a lot of kids. Mentioned it on the channel multiple times, but I just had a daughter 6 months ago. So still new to the parenting game, but so far so good. And she's obviously an amazing little bundle of joy. But I want to have more kids. I think to me it's kind of, I've become more optimistic about it because as I've gotten older and I've had friends and stuff that are actually in the same boat, guy friends, like friends that were girls that also were like, I don't want to have kids, or especially when we were in college, which, like I said, kind of warranted. That was my cutoff. I don't know about you, any person watching this video, if you have kids, if not, if you want kids in the future, that, yeah, you don't want to have kids while you're in high school. I had buddies that had I think two people I know for a fact had kids in high school, and hey, they're great dads and they have great families, but yeah, I'm sure it was tougher than if they were out of high school or out of college. It would make it a lot harder. But my plan was get out of college and then I don't care, get married, have kids, hurry it up so I can be younger and interact with my kids and do fun things with them when they are old enough to play and do things. So this trend, I think, is worrying to me, but how I wanted to tie this together was I saw a video, it wasn't Ramsey, but it's on his network or whatever, two of the co-hosts from Dave Ramsey's stuff, talking about, and it's like fucking multiple layers to this thing. Alex Hormozy, another YouTuber, influencer, whatever, he's a business guy. I don't watch his shit, so I don't know a lot about him. I know he's popular, and he was making a point that actually people who have kids make more money. His logic, I think, was a little flawed, and I started looking into this a little bit. And I could find evidence, like there's studies and there's like controlled studies that actually equalize everything to show that married men make more money than non-married men. So obviously I'm a married guy, so that's good to know, I guess. And even if you're divorced, you technically, overall, you make more money than a never married guy, even if she takes you for half of your retirement or whatever, takes your ass to the cleaners, as my dad used to say. But I think it's funny that there is a correlation and some proof that married men make more. I think it kind of makes sense. You have a partner, somebody to help you through things. I don't think it's that crazy that would be the case. There is, at least I would think, some kind of motivation, and I think that is tied into the having kids and making more money argument. But also marriage is, why I wanted to tie these two things together was obviously because marriage and kids go hand in hand a lot of times. Not so much anymore, but still, I would hope. I wanted to get married. If I'm having kids, I'm getting married. We're going all in or not in at all. Like, in my mind, I don't think it matters. But marriage is also in the same boat of people. A lot of people these days that are like, I never want to get married. I don't really care to get married. I kind of thought like this when I was younger, maybe like in the first couple years of college. I was like, what's the point of getting married? Just a piece of paper, blah, blah, blah. I don't know so much anymore. I still do think the governmental part is something, but the religious aspect, if you are religious or if you look at it as a cultural thing, I think it is important one way or the other. Whether the signed piece of paper where you split your assets 50-50, not so much, but the commitment and things like that, we can get into it some other time. But I do think it's important. And obviously kids are important because if we don't have kids, and as of right now, I don't know if you pay attention to this, but the population and the birth rates are plummeting in every developed country in the world, basically, which is not positive because we're going to have a bunch of old retired people having to live off systems like we've talked about on here, Social Security and things like that, that is being propped up by less people than are being fed off of it, basically. So that's not going to fly. Eventually, we will hit a breaking point with that. Where that is, I don't know. I know China has serious problems with this, demographic issues. A lot of the Eastern Asian countries have problems with this. I think Japan is another one that has a serious problem with it. And the United States and European countries are starting to see it more and more as well. But the money aspect, I think it was funny. Hormozi was making the point that if you have kids, it's going to drive you to basically make more money. And the part that I don't think he's wrong about that necessarily, but I think the part that he's completely off base, he started bringing up, if I remember the video correctly, I'll try to find it and link it in here so you can watch it yourself if you want. But he brings up the fact that like Elon Musk and Bezos both have kids and they're billionaires or whatever. I don't think that's fair at all, because I don't care what you think about Elon. In general, I think his companies and stuff are cool. Tesla's cool, SpaceX is cool, doing cool things. Him as a person, I don't know him, I don't care about him, whatever. He can do whatever he wants. I don't know if he's a good dad or not, so I don't know if that really means anything. Like, you can make all the money in the world, but in my opinion, if you have kids, I would think being the dad part would be more important. Make sure you provide for your family, obviously, but being there for your kids is more important. And I don't know how many kids he has at this point. I think he's like fucking 12 or 11 kids. I don't know how many kids he has. So there's no way, and they're all with, not all, but there are multiple women. He has multiple baby mamas and shit. So he's obviously not parenting these kids very well. If he's running multiple companies, he's doing governmental stuff with Doge now, and has all these kids with multiple different chicks. Probably not the most involved father, I would say. So I don't think that point is warranted. But the have kids and you're going to be forced to basically work harder and strive to make more money, I maybe can get behind that. And it's similar to marriage. I think the marriage one is easier, just that you have a built-in support system. You have dual income, so it's a little bit different. You could maybe afford to take bigger risks, go after more money, start a business, something like that. But I want to know what you guys think, especially the part about having kids and making more money as you have kids. Because the thing I was curious, I've always heard numbers thrown around. When I Googled it, it's somewhere between, the accepted number is somewhere between $200,000 and $300,000, basically, is the default amount of money it costs to raise a kid from 0 to 18 without paying for their college, just like what it costs, flat out, somewhere in between there. So, I mean, I don't know how many kids I want to have. Eventually we have one. I want more as of right now. I think it's like I said, it's going pretty good. I would like to have a bunch of kids if I can afford it. How many kids can I afford? Remains to be seen. So far, she's so little, it doesn't really matter. She's not really upping my costs in any way, but when they get older and buy clothes, buy stuff for sports, buy more food, they're going to eat more, utilities go up. I don't know, they got the AC running all day. Costs are definitely going to go up. $300,000? I mean, maybe, but if I want to have, you're telling me if I want to have 4 or 5 kids that it's going to cost me 1.5, 1.5 mil to have 4 or 5 kids? You can definitely do it for cheaper, I'll tell you that. I've said it before on here, but my mom raised 4 kids by herself. She was a single mom. She got child support and stuff, but I'm saying, I'd say high estimate. We got some people out here that don't know how to drive. Apparently they don't know how to move out of the center lane to turn right. Interesting. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, she may be making $30,000, $40,000 a year with 4 kids. So, I mean, over a 26-year period, all 4 of us, something like that. I mean, you're nowhere close. You're not even at $1 million, are you? I mean, yeah, you're getting close to that number for supposedly what she made in total. So it obviously didn't cost that much to raise us kids. I'd obviously want my kids to have a better childhood in life and be able to go on vacations and do whatever they want. In theory, that if I have the money to do it and it makes sense, they're not doing something crazy, I'd obviously want to be able to provide that. But I think people, as with everything, it seems like it's been coming up a lot on the channel that it's just like people exaggerate how much it costs, or you're just being kind of frivolous, buying shit that kids don't really need. And it's the kind of thing where people buy their kids 1 billion toys on their first birthday party for them to want to play with a fucking stalk of celery more than the toys you bought them. Like, little kids don't need a bunch of toys to have fun and have a good childhood. It's not about that. You don't have to go crazy on Christmas for a 6-month-old child. They're not going to remember it, so it doesn't really matter. But I wanted to ask what you guys think, especially about the trend of not having kids, because I find it concerning, and I'm happy. Like I said, I'm happy to see it kind of turn around. I actually have a lot of my friends around my age group. Like I said, I think it's normal to not want kids when you're younger because it's unstable and you don't really know what's going on. But it seems like now I'm having a lot of people around me that are having kids that are roughly the same age, and that's awesome because I really think it is. Like I said, I'm new to this, so take it with a big grain of salt, but I think that's definitely the epitome of your ability on this earth in general, is to be able to have and raise good kids. Like, that experience so far has been unlike anything else, obviously, and it's been pretty awesome. It obviously sucks for people who aren't able to have kids and things like that. That's a bummer. It's not like your life is pointless or anything, not saying that at all, but if you're able, I think, and willing, because that was another point. I was watching a video by another YouTuber, Jack, and he's talking about these people getting on TikTok and being like, I'm not having kids, and all kinds of shit, and environmental reasons, the world is going to end, and look how bad the world is, and all that shit, which I don't buy into at all. I mean, yeah, whatever, global warming might happen, environmental disasters, natural disasters and stuff, but I'm not going to not have kids because bad things happen in the world. It's just not a thing. It's like, I don't know, there was kids born in World War II. You think their parents were like, well, look at the world might end. It's like, I mean, yeah, your life might end at any time. I don't know what kind of point that is really to make, but I don't really buy into that at all. I'm about let's keep it positive, I guess. Try your best to keep it positive, in my opinion, but I don't know. Let me know what you think. And if that, I think the trend is starting to reverse. At least around my age, there's more and more people that are wanting to be family people, want to be involved parents. I think it's a good sign. But there's definitely some people out there going the other way for some reason. But who knows? Like I said, let me know what you think. It's not really a finance video, not really current events, just kind of something to talk about. Kind of a chill Friday. I was out in the field all day at work, so I didn't really get to listen to any news and kind of think up a subject. So I thought I'd talk about this instead. But if you didn't like the video, dislike it, tell me why. If you liked it, like it. Subscribe, come back for more if you would. I'd appreciate it. Hope you all have a good weekend, and might catch you this weekend on a different video if I can get into any of the news. But otherwise, I'll catch you Monday.